Hey everyone, and welcome to Crimes, Cocktails, and BS, the podcast that serves up a tantalizing blend of true crime and pop culture. We are your hosts. I'm Alex, and joining me is my partner in crime, Kaisa.
Hey, fellow crime addicts and reality TV junkies. Get ready for a podcast that combines the suspense of crime stories with the guilty pleasure of our favorite reality TV shows. We're here to spill the tea, mix up some cocktails, and dive deep into the shocking secrets behind the glitz and the glamour.
Join us as we sip our concoctions and embark on a journey through the dark side of humanity. Cheers!
Cheers!
Now, welcome to Kaisa's Cocktail Corner, where she's going to tell us all about the drink she made for today's podcast.
Yes,
what are you drinking over there?
This fabulous blue drink. It's called the Gilgo Breeze.
It's a so blue.
Bit vibrant, yes. That is vodka, curacao, lime juice, pineapple juice, and a pineapple wedge.
And for all those who are just listening and not watching, she has decorated it also with a bright orange straw. So we're really getting the
just obnoxious summer
vibes from that drink. Which is honestly the complete opposite of what we're going to be talking about today. So for all of our new listeners, and you all are new because this is our first episode ever, congratulations to us for finally doing it.
Yay!
Today's topics are going to be one true crime case, one reality TV show BS thing that we love and are obsessed with talking about. And maybe you'll get some recommendations and just hearing us bullshit our way through this, because what's life without some bullshit? So should we just dive on in? Should we get into
Dive on into the darkness of the Gilgo Beach killer?
Yes,
Sure.
Let's do it. So a little background info for all of those who are not following and maybe have not turned on their TV or opened a laptop in 3-4 weeks. Rex Heuermann of New York, the 57-year-old architect, has been charged with 3 out of 4 murders out of Gilgo Beach. Now, these series of killings have happened between 1996 and 2011, with now there being over 24 victims being found, the majority of which were sex workers who advertised on Craigslist. Now, police are also investigating and opening up cold cases or unsolved murders in both Las Vegas and South Carolina, because it turns out our friend Rex here has land and homes in both locations. And so this case might sound a little familiar to you if you've watched any A&E specials, as this has been the storyline for many shows. Over a decade, yes. With the first one premiering in 2011 on A&E. There was an 8-episode miniseries as well in 2016 called The Killing Season. And probably most notable is the 2020 Netflix Lost Girls, which is based on Robert Kolker's book, Lost Girls, an Unsolved American Mystery.
Great book. Recommend.
Yeah, I need to read it now.
It's wild knowing that he's allegedly been caught.
Yeah, it's just wild to know that this has been happening since 1996.
Yeah, I remember hearing about it as a kid too.
Yeah, and I mean,
crazy.
I saw this article today that was saying we haven't seen a serial killer like this in decades.
Yeah, and they're opening up cases in New Jersey as well. It's just there could be so many murders connected to this guy. It's wild,
absolute insanity, and the fact that this has been something that people have been talking about for decades as well. And I mean,
and
movies,
the poor
books,
victims.
Yeah.
And their families, so we want to cover the victims first of all, because their families have been suffering for over a decade, not knowing what happened. It's horrible. The 3 women that Rex was charged with murdering were Melissa Bartholomew, Megan Waterman, and Amber Lynn Costello. And they were all in their 20s at the time that they were murdered. They were all petite women who, like you said, advertised on Craigslist. They also...
Similarities between all of them. Oh, here you are.
Yeah. Oh,
Oh no, you froze for a minute.
we froze. Oh no.
No.
They were all very similar. Yeah, they were petite women who advertised on Craigslist. They used burner phones to call the people that they met up with as sex workers. And it's actually nuts. The families of these victims were being called by Rex and harassed.
I didn't know that.
Over the years, he researched where they lived. He would drive by their homes, allegedly. He gave them phone calls and would describe how he killed them to the family members. Wild stuff. So these people have been abused for over a decade and had no way of, for some reason, figuring out who he was.
Oh my God.
So awful.
Those poor families.
So terrible. And they found like his Google searches showed he was stalking all of the family members of these women that he killed. So I'm thinking they may find other victims that way if he was searching other family members. So
yeah,
I don't know.
So messed up.
So messed up.
On so many levels. And you mentioned burner phones, which is actually one of the ways that the Suffolk County DA Ray Tierney said the cops were able to charge Rex with this because they were able to track these burner phones. He was using false IDs. He was continuing to patronize sex workers, and he had permits for an astonishing 92 firearms, which is disgusting.
Yes.
Itself.
So the evidence that led up to his arrest, for some reason, over a decade, they weren't really, there's a lot of controversy over how they dealt with this investigation. At the beginning, it was a different group of detectives, and they seemed to sort of shrug it off because these women were sex workers. They blamed it on their line of work and how dangerous it is, and basically just said, like,
which is so sad.
They died because they're sex workers. Yeah.
Because like, just because they're sex workers doesn't mean they're not people.
Exactly. Yeah. And like, do what you got to do. But yes, so now the DNA technology has gotten much better. The DNA that they found on the bodies was very, very degraded. So back, in 2000s, even early 2000s, they were not able to match that with anything. Also, the databases have grown because of these ancestry DNA things. So that helped. They also have technology to track the burner phones and where they were calling from and when they got phone calls and all the data there. So that was like a new thing that really led to the arrest. And they also, like, all these podcasts, all these documentaries, like, drew a lot of attention to this and why it wasn't solved. And that, I think, pushed these new detectives to, like, figure it out.
Yeah. I mean, I wonder now how many cases will be either reopened or
it's wild.
Yeah. With all this new way of finding things. And I really find the burner phone one interesting and pretty fascinating because when I think of a burner phone, I'm always automatically think drug dealing, something bad's going down, like,
you throw it away after you
throw it away when you're done. Like, no one's going to trace it back. Guess what? Not so great anymore. Like, I'm so happy that technology exists now because maybe they'll be able to use it for other cases that they weren't able to track before.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah. And like, I didn't know they could do that, but they have evidence
people,
that
Kaisa. We're not really in the business of looking up burner phones.
I don't know about you, but I'm just kidding. But they have evidence that he called these women from their Craigslist posts, and there's evidence that the phone call came in, like, they talked right before they disappeared. So he was like the last person that they talked to. So it's very clear that he has some connection with this. Obviously.
Yeah, it's not like he was just calling them to be like, "Hey, how's your day? Want to be friends?" And then like
And it shows that they had talked several times, like before the last call where they disappeared. So who knows what was happening there. Yeah.
Yeah. Seriously. Who
really creepy
knows? Yeah. And like,
oh my God, I saw a TikTok where they think it was a recording of him and like talking to a woman in his house or something. And he was like, we have to go. We have to go. Like, you have to find that. It's creepy if it is him.
Yeah, that's.
And there was a 911 call from one of the victims. And she was like, I don't know where I am. This man took me somewhere.
What?
I don't know where I am. And she was like, help. He's doing something weird. Like, help. And she didn't give enough like information for them to help her. So they didn't send anyone anywhere. She didn't know where she was.
Oh my God.
Like, they think that was one of the victims. So there's a lot of creepy stuff out there.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah.
Do you want to touch on the conspiracy theories?
Oh, sure. So there are some conspiracy theories out there where they think he may have been part of like a dude gang that like murdered a bunch of women together. That's so creepy.
Yeah.
There was one guy. So all the victims were found in these burlap sacks. And they weren't like the brown burlap sacks. They were camo. So they were like for hunting.
Very festive. Sorry.
Just like love camo.
Yeah. I mean, when I think of a burlap sack, I go straight to like the brown ones that we all know. And then like the Marilyn Monroe photograph of her in the burlap sack.
Yeah.
So
yeah, like
that's where my
farm wedding or something.
Yeah. Farm wedding. Yeah. Like
exactly
rustic wedding detailing.
I love that we think of weddings.
I mean, we're a part of the Pinterest generation, so I'm not that surprised, but
I love it. Well, okay, so this guy Jimmy Bissett, I could have that wrong. I think it's Bissett. He was friends and worked with Rex as an architect, and he actually had a manufacturing company of burlap sacks. And he actually committed suicide after he found out that some bodies were found. So the police found that suspicious for a while.
Yeah.
And there were a few other men connected to him that had killed themselves. So it's like, do they have a pact? Were they feeling guilty, or did they know they were going to get caught? Like, who knows? We might find
Twilight
like a
Zone
ring.
theme song here.
I know. Yeah. So that's interesting. Let's see. We want to talk about like the things they found in his house, because that was a lot. that was creepy.
Was a lot. I know. We were talking about how, those like people on TikTok who do the crazy Zillow listings that find like sex dungeons in the basement, or like church pews and like
pink carpeting,
furry walls, and all those things. Rex's house was a bit different. Just a little.
It was creepy. So they found like a dungeon in his basement, like a lock. It had like security locks, and like I think it had noise canceling. I don't know.
The walls were paneled, weren't they? For, like, noise canceling.
Yeah. So that's creepy.
Yeah. That's not a normal situation.
It's not. No. Most people don't have dungeons in their basement.
No.
They also found a life-size doll, which was really creepy. It was in a glass case, and it was not in his kid's room. So that it was
like on display.
Or who knows what he does with that.
Ew.
Like, honestly, it's like a dead body maybe to him. Ew. Sorry.
I don't know.
That's too dark. We don't need to.
No, at first when you told me that fact, I automatically went to like is it TLC? Or it's one of those that has like the My Strange Obsession.
My Strange Addiction or whatever.
And like all those. And you have like the guy who's married to his car, and then the woman who's in a relationship with the carnival ride, and the blow up doll guy, and like wild stuff, which, I mean, those people I assume are harmless in that case. But like, why does this guy have this life-size doll?
And there were like no other
like nothing.
doll collections or anything. So like he's
it's
not
clearly
like a
not his
collector.
kids.
Yeah.
Clearly not. Like,
and what does his family think of that? I don't know.
So that's where I'm really interested with this is like, it's not like he was some single 59-year-old guy who, you know, was just allegedly murdering these Craigslist sex workers. You know, it's this guy who has a wife and a family and is finding the time to orchestrate all of this. Like,
so creepy.
Waiting until his wife was taking the kids out of town or they were going away for a couple days or whatever it is. Like, how was he able to allegedly pull this off?
Especially in the other states, if these murders are connected to him. Like,
yeah,
how is he doing all of this? It's crazy.
Yeah, like I don't see how he could go to Vegas or South Carolina and somehow leave his family behind unless he was using excuses. But as an architect, it's not necessarily like you can say, or at least I don't think you could say, like, I have to go to Vegas for a new job that's happening or something like that.
Maybe that is something. I don't know.
I don't know. But it just seems so crazy to me that she came out and said she'd had no idea about this. But if your husband is not, I mean, I obviously don't know what their relationship dynamic was, but your woman's intuition kicks in at some point and is like, something's not adding up here. Something's not right.
Yeah, who knows? Maybe he just never shows them out. Like,
maybe.
Sociopaths are scary people who can hide things.
I'm sure he turned it on for her and had a different personality, but to also think he has kids, it's like,
yeah,
crazy to think.
Yeah, how did that dynamic work? Like,
exactly.
I want to know how he was with his kids and his wife. Like, that's interesting to me.
I'm sure more will come out about it, obviously. And I mean, she's divorcing him now. So we'll see how that goes. And
like, also, how did she not think it was weird that he had over 300 firearms in his house?
Oh, like, yeah.
We forgot to touch on that.
Oh,
like,
God, yeah, I know. I said only 92 were registered, but there
is wild.
200 more. Yeah. I mean, how is that normal?
I don't know. I'd be like, there's something going on here. Like, that's weird.
Seriously, why do you need like an apocalyptic amount of guns in your house? Also, were they all in New York? Were they all at his one house, or were they?
Yeah, they were all locked in a case or something in his house. Yeah.
So I wonder then if they go and check out his other homes, like, are there more? How many are there? What's going on? Like,
I don't know. And the police were like, anyone who has over 100 guns, like, we flag as someone suspicious.
So that's
like,
why he stopped at 92 weird. To have them registered. It's like, that's an alarming amount in itself. Like,
totally. It's
I think
weird.
One is alarming. Like,
same.
Like, I'm scared.
They scare me. Yeah.
Yeah. Like,
oh my gosh.
It's just so unbelievable.
Yeah. And this poor family, like, the police have torn apart the house. Like, the couch was shredded. Like, she can't go back in her house. I read an article about how the neighbors are all raising money for her because she doesn't have money. He like has it in his name and all this stuff. So she,
so it's all frozen.
Like homeless. Yeah, it's got to be frozen. So she's homeless, traumatized. If she didn't have any idea, like shocked. Also, her kids are like traumatized. I just can't imagine.
I can't imagine.
I would divorce him too.
Yeah, right. I'd be out. See ya.
Duh.
Like, love does not conquer all in this situation.
No,
absolutely not. Oh my God. But yeah, I mean,
till murder does us part.
Yeah, till murder does us part. It's a good one. I mean, and they just found the identity of the Fire Island Jane Doe that was also a part of this, which is crazy in itself too. Like, so many things are coming out now.
I know.
Because of this. So I know you have some info on her, but it's just crazy to believe that this poor woman had been missing for over 30 years. And now
no identity. Like,
no identity.
It's so sad. Yeah.
Yeah.
I have her name. Hold on. Gotta look through my note.
Hey, prepared. That's what's
her
important.
name is Karen Vergata, and she was from Manhattan. And actually, she was last seen in 1996 at 34 years old, and she was working as an escort. And no one reported her missing. And she was a mother. I don't have a lot of information.
Strange in itself, too, that no one reported her missing, and she had a child.
Like, who was the child with?
Yeah, exactly.
And her dad, apparently, who passed away, was looking for her, but never reported her missing or alerted the police. So it's very strange.
Yeah.
I guess, yeah, there's a lot of like disregard for sex workers. So I'm wondering if that was the reason why they were just like, oh, she did something dangerous and is gone.
Exactly. And then I was reading too that they found like her foot or like some remains of hers, but weren't able to get the DNA to match because it was so long ago. And now they do. They were able to be able to do it. But it's sad that it's taken this long, but it's hopefully bringing these families peace now.
Yeah.
That who are still with us, that they're able to know what happened to these.
There's some family interviews that are pretty interesting to hear about, like, especially with the torture that they were enduring from him, like calling them and stuff.
I didn't know about that part,
such a relief for them.
Yeah. Well, we'll find out more. He's going to be appearing in court next on August 15th. So
good.
I'm sure more will be coming out between now and then, but we'll just have to hang on and see.
So much comes out every day. I can't wait.
Know, really. Yeah. Speaking of stuff coming out every day and high profile separations, I guess we should be heading into our pop culture section of our
more fun, more lighthearted.
More lighthearted.
Love it.
So we'll move on from murder to a lesbian love triangle, allegedly. Another alleged situation. If you don't know what we're talking about, we are speaking on the OG of the BH, Miss Kyle Richards, and her alleged rumored love affair with 28-year-old country singer Morgan Wade. Now, if you follow Bravo like Kai's and I do, and it's practically our Bible, Kyle Richards is the longest running star on Real Housewives of Beverly Hills from episode 1, season 1, which is kind of unbelievable. And they're going on to season 13 now, I want to say.
Wow, yeah.
Which is so crazy. Kyle's marriage to Mauricio Umansky was always a topic of conversation on the show. And now with all these rumors that started swirling about Kyle and Morgan, the couple came out with an official separation statement, which seemed to me pretty planned.
Oh, yeah.
At least from how I read it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Curated.
Very curated. And they're no stranger to these kinds of rumors coming up. I mean, we saw them throughout the seasons of the show.
Yeah, they always seem so in love to me. Like,
I know, I thought so too. And like a very cute, normal life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like Mauricio's goofy, always high, just like,
I know. Oh my God. Yeah. That episode in where were they, Mexico with Dorit and PK, and he's like just stoned at the table.
No idea what's happening.
Oh my God. I loved it. It was so good.
They seemed really cute, but who knows? Like, it's reality TV.
Don't know
they get a blip
behind closed doors
of what they show us. Yeah.
So, I mean, I guess a little backstory on Kyle and Morgan. They met in February of 2022 after Kyle became a huge fan of Morgan's music. Now, I've never heard of Morgan Wade until all this, but I guess I'm sure her Spotify listings have gone up. They attended the iHeartRadio Music Festival red carpet together in September of 22, and they've gone on multiple vacations together. And the biggest kind of spark in rumors came when it was shown that Kyle and Morgan had the same heart tattoo. Now, in last season's reunion, Kyle mentioned that the tattoo meant so much to her, and she wasn't going to go into a lot of detail on it, but it means a lot. So that is interesting. And I mean, I find it also weird that like she stopped wearing her ring in the beginning of this year, and then she's
been like hiding her hand.
Yeah.
It's very strange.
Like very much keeping them away. And then
but it seems obvious. Like she's trying to. I don't know.
But they also like put out the statement on July 4th. So like everyone's pretty busy that day if you live in the US. Like interesting choice of day for that, in my opinion.
Yes.
But they're like still living under the same roof.
Very weird.
Which is odd in itself.
Very Scandival-y.
Like, yes, very Scandival-y. But the difference is like he works in real estate. Can't he just like go rent one of those homes?
Yeah. Yes.
Or like
I'm sure they have
can't one of them go to
homes.
Palm Springs and the other one go, because they have the house in Palm Springs, they have the house in Aspen. Like, can't one of them go somewhere?
Wait, do you remember the medium from like 2010?
Yes.
He was like, she said he will never emotionally fulfill you. Yes. And that was to Kyle. Yes. I don't know. That was the sign.
Oh my God. Yes.
I think he's been cheating for years, to be honest, but
I think so too. I mean, all those rumors came out in the past, like LVP talks about it. Probably my favorite. I love her so much. Gotta love Lisa Vanderpump. But yeah, they talked about it like season 4, I want to say. Yeah. Like with all the magazines. And then when was it? You know.
They posted something, or there were rumors in 2020 that they had split and that there was a cheating scandal. And it was in People magazine, and she just laughed it off. She was like, you guys love to talk about us. It's so funny.
Yeah. And I mean,
whatever.
Yeah. I mean, but that's so interesting. Like she reacted that way for so long. And then this time when it started swirling, she had a totally different attitude about it.
And then there was like a weird rumor where, do you remember Dana Wilkie, the $50,000 sunglasses lady?
25,000
or 25,000.
Yeah. You like my sunglasses? 25,000.
Yeah, 25,000.
Yes.
She was funny.
God, she was
but
hilarious.
She posted about like Dorit having an affair with Mauricio.
Yes, I remember
and that was like last year or something.
Yeah, I remember.
Which is not,
she has a
I
podcast.
don't think that's true, but
I don't think that's true either. Dorit doesn't give off that vibe.
No.
She gives off a lot of vibes, but not that one.
Right.
Yeah.
Homeless, not toothless, or yeah.
Oh, yeah, right? Homeless, not toothless. Yes, it's homeless, not toothless. Kathy!
I die every time I hear that.
Seriously, every time I hear that, it's so funny.
I just picture Dorit saying it.
I know. And then I just picture Kathy with her like dentist tools.
So funny. Like, I love the cause, but the name, like,
absolutely.
Come on.
Yeah.
Come on.
Let's work on a name. But yeah, I mean, it's just, this is so weird. Like I feel like they're trying, I mean, the cameras have been picked back up to film. Yeah. So I really feel like they're trying to get the Scandival effect on it, but nothing will ever
like
be
a Kershell moment. Do you watch Selling Sunset? And she's dating like
moment.
She's married now. Yeah, married. Yeah. Which is really cute. They're really cute together.
Yeah, they're very cute together.
But I was like, yeah, it was a moment. Like they got a lot of attention. G Flip probably made a ton of money. Like I didn't know who they were before. And now.
I mean, yeah, agreed. But like, this isn't the first time something like this has happened. Like the Scandival of it all. That was the first time we were rocked with that. Rocked. Like this doesn't have the same effect on me.
No, not at all. It's so subtle. Like, yeah, I think it's silly how much she's clearly like milking the attention. And she's all like, why are you guys talking about us? Like, it's so silly. We're friends. And then she'll be like, oh, by the way, I'm playing a love interest on your music video. Like,
yeah, exactly. It's like, what is, I understand if she's trying to do like, yeah, she's totally playing into it. I understand if she's trying to do like if you can't beat them, join them thing, but it's too far gone down the road now that like,
Yeah.
There's no like laughing it off. Like you're either in this or you're not. Like, what's the truth here? And I don't feel like we're getting it. And this is also after Kyle has boasted. Do you remember that? I feel like it was either last season or the season before, where she was just like, I need the truth from everyone. Like everyone needs to be honest. No one's honest.
She's very controlling too.
Yeah. It's like, can you be honest? Maybe like what's happening here? Because this is
loves
weird.
to control the narrative. And that's why I think this is like so hard for her. Cause she's like, there's all this gossip. So I have to like do something to control it and make it positive. And like, but I don't know. Are they actually having an affair? Because that interview about the music video, there was some sexual tension for sure. I picked up on it. They were like, they tried to make it look like they're friends by crossing their legs the opposite way, like that body language. But I totally picked up on some vibes. Like,
yeah. And speaking of body, I mean, she's gone through a whole body transformation.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, and sober and all that, which like mazel, good for you.
Good for you.
So happy for you that you're feeling good in your body, and like being sober is good for you. But you don't just do all that because you're in a happy place and you just want to continue to be happier. Like
clearly trying to make a change. And like, who knows? Like sobriety, it could lead her to finding herself in a different way.
Exactly.
Exploring this other thing.
I mean, she wouldn't be the first person. So.
Yeah. Or maybe like an affair sparked the sobriety. Who knows?
Who knows? I mean, that's always a clear-cut sign that something's going on in a woman's life when their hair changes, their body, like something changes, like dramatic like that. So
yeah, definitely.
I mean, I guess we'll see. I don't know when the new season airs, but
I can't wait to see
cameras
what
are
happens.
back up. So we'll
want to know the truth.
We want to know the truth. Damn it! Just tell us.
Tell us.
Hard. Oh man. Well, do we have any recommendations? Any TV shows? Any movies? Any books? Got anything?
Oh my gosh. I can't remember what I'm watching. Do you have any?
Yes, I just finished Blackbird on Apple TV, which is a mini series based off the true story of Jimmy Keene, who was a drug dealer who the FBI used because he was so charismatic. In jail, they placed him in another jail to get this alleged serial killer, Larry Hall, to confess to these murders.
And he had gruesome murders.
Yeah. Taron Egerton is in it. He's so cute. Like, just watch it for him. But it's
the guy who plays the murderer, right? He's like that guy, creepy voice.
Yes,
like,
that guy. He's so good. Creepy. I mean, it's nominated for a bunch of Emmys. Like,
I have to finish it.
Yeah, I definitely 10 out of 10 would recommend.
The Crowded Room as well. We've been watching that and talking about it.
It just ended.
I know. I'm sad.
So
it was
good.
Really good. Yeah.
Tom Holland. Good. I mean, I had no idea Spider-Man could act that well.
No clue. He was really good. And then, I don't know, all the trash TV, obviously.
Yeah. And then I just finished a book too called The Last Word, which for any of you bookworms like me is really good. It's about this woman, Emma Carpenter, who moves to this like isolated island off the coast of Oregon. She's like house sitting for the winter, and she pretty much like downloads all of the free ebooks on her Kindle, and she reads this one and gives it a 1-star review, and everything kind of starts going a little weird.
What? Wait, what is it called again?
The Last Word.
The Last Word.
It is check that out. So good. I read it in like 3 days. It was I like couldn't put it down. It was so good. It's so suspenseful, really good thriller. Keeps you on the edge of your seat the whole time. Check it out.
Quick question. Have you been watching New York?
No, but I love Jenna Lyons.
You need to talk about it. Jenna Lyons is amazing. She's so great. I'm actually loving it. So I didn't expect to with all new cast, but it's really good because it's like the OG vibe where they don't really know what to show and what not to show. And like,
oh my God,
it's really good. So we'll probably talk about
maybe
that.
That's our next topic will be, because I know Ultimate Girls Trip is starting, and that's a huge thing right now because it was supposed to be with the Caroline Manzo, Brandy Glanville season. And instead now they're putting the OG New York women's Ultimate Girls Trip. They're airing that first and doing the Caroline Manzo one second.
Because Brandy assaulted people.
Because of the Brandy.
Oh, Brandy.
Oh, Brandy, you are not that fine of a girl. But
she rough.
She rough. But yeah, I mean, maybe that can be our next one, because there will be a next one. Oh,
there will be.
This was so good. I'm so proud of us. We did it. Our first episode in the books.
Yeah, thanks for hanging on while we bullshit.
Yes. And if you want to know how we do, don't forget to subscribe to our podcast on your favorite platform and leave a review if you enjoyed the show. Please be nice to us.
We'll post our social media links in the bio.
Yeah, and maybe we'll let you follow us if you're lucky. But stay tuned for new episodes every other week. Even though we would love to do this weekly for you, Kaisa and I unfortunately have lives and jobs
maybe eventually.
to go to. Maybe eventually. That's
with all your support.
Yes. But we'll always be here to uncork the truth, and cheers to the wild world of crimes and reality TV. Thanks for joining us.
Bye.